Welcome, everybody, to episode 100 of the Permaculture PIMPcast, the only PIMPcast on planet Earth where we discuss permaculture, preparedness, and practical living. How you doing, son?
Pretty good. I'm surprised we made it to 100.
Man, I'm surprised we didn't get kicked off before 100.
Yeah.
And this thing's growing like weeds, y'all. So thank you, everybody out there who's telling everybody about it. Can't thank you enough. So we're going to try to make this a very extra special program, so you're going to want to stick around. Lots of giveaways and lots of other wonderful things we're going to get into. Right off, y'all, as always, from the very beginning, this episode brought to you by Hickory Ridge Soap from twooldcrowshomestead.com.
Turn that simp into a pimp.
Bam! Also, Heaven's Harvest, y'all, 10% off with promo code PERMA. Hey, those seeds down there, I'll tell you every single time, those seeds are batting 1,000. I can't get over it. They have really good stuff, freeze-dried stuff. We're going to be talking a lot about that in today's episode. In fact, it's going to be something of a potpourri that, believe me, you're going to be thankful you stuck around for. Also, if you wish to tip a pimp, check us out on the Fountain app. But in lieu of giving us a tip on Fountain, I'm going to ask you, stick around later in the show. I got another idea, and I hope you're game for it. All right, I'm not going to mess around right off the bat because we got a lot to do here today. Tip of the day. And believe it or not, this tip is based on what I just had for dinner. Okay, William is basically doing an all meat diet. I started off doing like the thing where the keto, somewhere along the way, a day or two or three or four ago, I basically jumped right into the all meat thing myself. And if I've had anything other than that, I'm not aware of it. But as I was sitting there going down, I did some, okay, when you do this sort of thing, I'm like, okay, we are very, very, very busy people. Your mom have to stop whatever she's doing every single day to go out there and cook dinner. I'm like, okay, I'll go out there, smoke a bunch of meat on the grill. So I did like 4 chickens and what most people would assume to be pulled pork. Now, if you know anything about barbecue, most people are going to say pulled pork, where do you get it from? The Boston butt. That's where everybody does it. I have been screaming from the rooftops. You don't have to spend all that money for that. You can get a dirt cheap cut. Or if you cut it up yourself, you can actually use the picnic ham. Okay. That's basically the ham on the front side, okay, of the pig. I'd have to show you what that is. So I use the picnic ham, which most people in the butchery world are going to turn into grind. They're almost never going to do anything with it. They're definitely not going to turn it into charcuterie. And a lot of times I leave certain cuts whole for precisely this reason. So you'll go out there, spend a fortune necessarily on a Boston butt. When you could easily I can do the same exact thing with hams. I guarantee you, I could do a ham, a picnic ham, a Boston butt, anything on that pig, as long as I use the same exact technique. When I shred it apart, hey, you ain't going to know the difference anyway. In fact, I was wondering what Randy could do with that instead of the pork belly candy. Randy from twooldcrowshomestead.com got this bomb thing called pork belly candy. I wonder what he could do if I was to shred up some of this stuff and let him go to work on that.
I don't think that's going to fit in his magic crock pot.
Man, I don't know. Whatever he's got in that crock, man, that's a crack pot, man, because I'm telling you what, and I ain't talking about the chef. That is a crack pot. What comes out of that crock pot is crack. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it is.
But really, hey, y'all, don't go out there and like the same exact thing. Let's say you had a cow butchered, okay? Okay, when you get it back, if you didn't do it yourself, even if you did, you almost certainly have a ton of roasts. So instead of or going to the grocery store, it's the barbecue season. Everybody's getting into it. I kid you not. You can go out there and make straight up Kansas City burnt ends with a cheap roast.
Not if you're on carnivore, though, because all you get is meat and salt.
Yeah, but I can do it that way as long as I count on the smoke to deliver the flavor.
But the burn ends, you can't get any of that,
you still
that
get
rub
the
or anything like that.
Yeah, watch. I'll show you. You get some of the bark on there.
You can't do that with salt?
Well, I can do it with salt and a few other things that might stick in there.
That's where I'm not fully on board with this carnivore thing, is the seasonings and stuff. Like, all right, we're already eliminating everything but meat. And now you're going to eliminate all the things I can use to flavor meat?
During strawberry season.
During strawberry, well, I don't know. I don't know if I said this on the PIMPcast or not, but I ate a couple strawberries the other day while harvesting strawberries, like maybe 5. And I had one heck of a digestive crisis and allergy. Like my sinuses started itching like immediately.
Man, I tell you, speaking of digestive crisis, I'm not trying to gross anybody out here, but there are transitions you make when you start this carnivore thing. At first, I was thinking I'd be clogged up like the Lincoln Tunnel at rush hour, but it doesn't exactly work that way until your liver kind of figures out what's going on. Is the way Dr.
Ken Berry.
Yeah, I think that's how he put it.
It takes a while for your liver to figure out.
It could take up to 2 weeks to figure out what's up, and I think I'm in that portion right there. So not trying to gross anybody out, especially when we're talking about barbecue. How we switched into that, I do not know.
Yeah,
but yeah, son, I'm going to try it this time. I'm just going to pack it with salt and try it that way. But back to the central point is that you can use very, very inexpensive cuts as long as you do it low and slow, barbecue style. And I guarantee you, I could do a roast, and I've done it this way. I could do a roast. Like when you make burnt ends, you basically take the point off your brisket, take it off there, hit it with some rub, and then put it back in there and, smoke it down. I have done it before, son, you know it, where I've taken rump roast, not necessarily the best thing in the world, and you can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
You can't tell the difference. So don't think you got to go out there and spend a pile of money, especially when things are going through the roof. Or if you got a bunch of those roasts in the fridge, y'all, seriously, give it a shot. Treat it just like you would a brisket. Or if you're dealing with a pig, do the same exact thing with the cheaper cuts, like a picnic ham. Just make sure you're looking out for, not tendons, but the glands and stuff when you mess around with a picnic ham. Just make sure you get all the glands out. And it's usually at the top where the neck is. You get that out, you put it on there, you cannot tell the difference. It is indistinguishable, and that is a cut of meat that almost everybody is just going to turn into grind. But bam, you tell me that tip wasn't worth it today.
Yeah, that one's worth it. Especially, I mean, you can get really cheap cuts of meat and turn it into some awesome stuff.
Yeah,
as far as you can get cheap, tough cuts of of beef and stuff like that. And do the same thing with it.
And tell them what you do. You stick it on a wire rack in the fridge.
No, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about the roast from a cow or something like that. You could instead of doing it, and you could just do barbecue. But yeah, that's it as well. You could get cheap or tough cuts of steak. Some of the roasts they cut into steaks, even though I don't think they should on some of them.
Yeah.
But you can salt both sides and then put it on a wire rack in the fridge for 24 hours, and it helps. It definitely does.
You can let it go for days, actually.
Yeah, you got to wipe that salt off, or else you're gonna have a very salty piece of steak.
Yeah, so think about those cuts that are outside. If you don't have a whole cow, or if you do, you're probably wondering, what do I do with all these roasts? Y'all give it a shot. Let me know how it works out, especially if you get some of that Miss Lippy's.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
any of them.
Yeah, get anything from Miss Lippy, y'all. She's got a YouTube channel. Tell her Billy sent you. She's still selling those because she sent us an entire thing. He wouldn't quit with that swamp mix.
Oh, yeah, it was off the hook. You can put that swamp mix on anything.
Anything. You can put it on ice cream, man. Miss Lippy knows what time it is. So we're going to jump right into the farm news. Met a wonderful lady at Ingles. She said her husband listens to every episode. I was over there, doing a number of things. Ran into her over there. I was in a bit of a rush. I sure hope she didn't think I was short, but I had to get going. And she was a very sweet lady, and I wanted to give a shout out to her. And anyway, other news, we hit 100,000 right there on YouTube.
Yep.
I'm really not. I mean, somebody said, "Well, how do you feel?" Honestly, I didn't feel any different. I'm not even. Son, from the very beginning, we never cared, and I want to make sure I'm very clear about this. It's funny that we hit 100,000 at the time we hit our 100th episode, and I never cared so much about the numbers of people we get, because I know the style of YouTube that we do, which is mostly how-to, is not going to be attractive to a lot of the people out there. So the idea and the impetus from the very beginning was to attract the how-to people. And it wasn't about getting a lot of subscriptions, and it still isn't. It's about getting the right people. Ran off a lot of the Marchies out there that would probably be offended by my liberty-minded ways. And all of those people ran to the hills. And now
they saw that there was work involved.
Well, the cool thing is that every time we go somewhere, every time we do a festival or whatever, it's always wonderful when you come across all these people that that we've kind of vetted each other. They know where I stand and you stand, and we know where they stand because they're telling us about it. And we're going to talk more about that here in a little bit. So other farm news, we got propagation beds going today.
Yeah, we're working on comfrey propagation beds. Not anything like too specific outside of like a regular raised bed. It's just these are going to be dedicated for comfrey. So they're not going to be competing with anything. And we can go in there and just rip stuff up without like worrying about damaging anything else.
Yeah, because the way we're currently doing it is that we're disturbing the soil where other things are going on. We can continue to do that. It's just going to make better sense. And honestly, it might give some people out there some good ideas. But you know what?
Yeah.
I just realized you got a shirt on.
Yeah, so do you.
And I got a shirt on too. And that T is actually a T. It's not an F like your mom thought. It says you can't tuck this.
I didn't see that until she said that. Now I can't not see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You can't tuck this. I think I'm going to have to get my designer to go back to the drawing board. Thinking about selling these shirts.
Well, I got a professional designer for this one.
There you go.
This one's from Strider 47. Conspiracy.
I don't think they can see the plane, man. It's got chemtrails on the theory part. Yeah, really awesome design.
Conspiracy theorist, and it's written in chemtrails.
Yep. Thanks, Strider.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so anyway, we got some new shirts on. We got another design. I'll wear that probably in a video or so. Hey, remember, before we move on, remember July 21st and through the 23rd, Heritage Life Skills. We got a link for that down below, right?
Yep, it is linked down below. It's Carolina. It's at Carolina Readiness, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's near Carolina Readiness. They're going to have it at another place because there's going to be a lot of people there. We're going to be there too. We're going to present. I basically said before that I was kind of retired for the year on the basis of all that we have going on. But I'm coming out of retirement. Number one, this one's close. The idea this year for us is mostly to focus on infrastructure, or that's been the case. This is an hour from us. There's no way I'm going to miss William Forstchen out there talking. And they talked me into doing a class as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
I don't think his name's William Forstchen.
Yeah,
Isn't it Christian Forstchen?
No, it's William Forstchen's son. I know this man. I know this man.
All
I know
right.
the book.
When you go up and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm going to go up there. Hey, Bill. What's up, Bill? I'm sure he goes by Bill. Anyway, he's going to be there. We're going to be there. But y'all, I'm telling you, that Carolina Readiness place is off the meat wagon. Get over there, check it out. A lot of cool classes over there. Also, coming up also, this is going to be a little further down the road. Kentucky Sustainable Living Festival is coming up. That's going to be October 28th and 29th. Like I said before, I called myself basically being retired this year for working on infrastructure, but there is no way on earth I'm not going to be there for that one.
Oh, yeah.
And the primary reason, the big reason is, number one, I was already going to, Darren from Axe for the Homesteader, good friend of mine, good friend from way back. He's going to be doing the butchery class up there, and I'm going to be his backup dancer. Darren's in charge, and I'm basically going to be doing what he tells me. And then for the first time, I think I'm actually going to be at a festival where I can actually go to some of the classes and hang out with a lot of the folks. And, I never get to really, I'm always working at these things, so I never really get a chance to. And Shelly pointed that out to me. I just got off the phone with Shelly a minute ago from twooldcrowshomestead.com. And I never get a chance to actually kind of really hang out. I get to know somebody very, very marginally, and then I got to run off to go do something. So that's not going to be the case this time. I really want to go there and hang out with a lot of other folks and get to know y'all and not feel like I'm rushed and being pulled in 10 different directions. So William's probably going to do a class up there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be Darren's assistant. And at the same time, I'm going to be able to hang out and do some classes. Hang out, watch other folks' classes and stuff like that. And I'll tell you what, the big thing, and we're going to announce that here in a little while, but there's a big thing going up there. Everybody knows how I feel about child sex trafficking and how I think it's the scourge of humanity if you've stuck around on this channel for any period of time. And what they're doing up there basically is the impetus to pull me right out of retirement. So they got a VIP dinner going on up there, y'all. Today marks our 100th episode, right? So we got to do something special.
Whoa, hold on. What about I got some farm news to announce. Do you want me to announce that after or before?
Well, let me go ahead.
Okay.
No, you go ahead first.
Okay. All right. So Emily and I are having a baby. We're having a little baby girl. Name's going to be June. We decided we needed another farmhand, so
Yeah.
we got another baby on the way.
Yeah.
And she'll be due in October, and Dad's gonna be a granddad, and Mom's gonna be a grandmother. And
Your mama's going to lose her ever-loving mind, man.
Yep.
I mean, she's been wanting something to cuddle for the longest time. That cat's going to go way back.
Oh, man.
That cat's going outside full time.
But we're having a baby.
Yep. So I'm going to be a granddad, and hey, y'all pray for us. I
mean, they're actively, like the hospital systems and stuff like that are actively trying to, I don't even know what at this point, just kill us, I guess.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we pray for every single aspect of this child. I mean, this child, your mom and I pray every single night that this child lives to serve the Lord. Like it says in the Ecclesiastes, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So if that's my purpose in this world, if that's what I'm supposed to do, then I think also I need to be raising, even in the status of a granddad, grandpop, that's what I'll be called. And even in that status, I mean, that is my job, is to raise the next generation, despite the nonsensical nonsense going on in this world. But hey.
And my job is going to be stopping Mom and Dad from trying to spoil this baby. Yeah, Dad's shaking his head no, but he's the biggest culprit. Just wait, guys.
Negative.
Just wait. You'll see.
Negative. Hey, foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Dad's talking all tough right now. Nope, it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, don't make me go, look, I can go through Proverbs. No.
Yeah, it's different when you're raising a little boy. It's different whenever you're raising a little girl and then... Yeah, she comes up and just asks for stuff.
Yeah, but I'm
you'll see.
Yeah, they will. She's going to be a little genius and blessed by the Almighty. So anyway, y'all, we ask for your prayers. Speaking of little kids, it's the number one reason why I decided, okay, I can't sit on the fence, is because what was announced the other day when Jason and Shelly were doing a live. They asked me to come on briefly, and I got kicked off. I ended up running my mouth and got kicked off the live stream somehow.
Not by them.
No, not by them. The powers that shouldn't be, you know what those are. Anyway, they announced that they're going to have this is going to be at that Kentucky Sustainable Living Festival, October 28th and 29th. It is going to be off the hook because you got two incredible people, or I'm sure they got a whole cadre going on this right now. But here's what got me in there, y'all. They're going to have a VIP dinner. I'm not ever going to be down for that VIP dinner where anybody thinks I'm a VIP, because I'm not, and I'm never going to be. But if you tell me your VIP dinner is to raise money for Vets for Child Rescue, I'm in. I'm in 100%. I'm in 10,000%. Speaking of 10,000, that's the number they got to hit. They're charging $250 per ticket. Okay.
For the VIP dinner.
For the VIP, to raise this money to do an operation specifically in Kentucky where this festival is going to be at.
Yeah.
Now
10,000 is what they need in order to do an operation.
That's what an operation costs, okay? And so they are trying to raise enough money to get some kids rescued. Folks, I'm all about this. I said it before the other day. I would give everything I own and live in a dumpster gladly if it means I get to save one child out of child sex trafficking. I mean it. That's how serious I am about this. So our full weight of everything we can do with this show, the podcast, everything I am, y'all, is all going to be, until we hit that 10,000, I'm not going to quit working. So I'm going to ask for your help out there. So we're on show episode 100.
100.
Okay. So here's what we're going to say. The first 10 people that sign up for that VIP dinner, believe me, we're buying tickets. Just because we're going there, I'm still buying tickets to this event. I guarantee you. The first 10 people that sign up there, we're going to give you 10 minutes on this show interview. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about, promote your business, yourself, whatever it is you do, or YouTube channel, your own podcast, whatever it is. You sign up, you get 10 minutes on this show, and we're not going to stack you up. We're going to put you in segments on different shows. how you line up. It's not going to be back to back and just kind of shuffle you all in there. No, you're going to be a central part of this show. The first 10 people that sign up, let me know you signed up, and then email me, let me know, and we're going to get you in the queue. We're going to get you in the queue.
So sign up after you sign up, email Dad saying that you signed up. We'll double check, and then we'll get you squared away on the time slot. And you can come on and ask questions. You can come on and have a conversation. If you don't have anything to promote, you can promote your friends' businesses. You can do whatever it is you want to do for those 10 minutes on the show.
Or if you're one of those people out there, and we do know some generous benefactors that says, hey, I love this idea. I'm going to sponsor X amount of people and buy tickets for them. Or you want to give $1,000 or whatever the case may be. Or if you know anybody that might be interested, y'all, I am going to work my butt off. I will not stop working. Now that I know what the finish line really means, that this is actually a party with a purpose, to spend this money, I want to raise way more than that. But yeah, we're going to be there. We're going to buy tickets, and we're going to lead the way. Tell your mom to get on it as soon as we get off here.
That video we put up about the people driving to rural communities, that video got up to 117-something thousand views. If each one of those people just donated $1, that's 10 operations right there. That's 11 operations, almost 12.
I think your math's off, son. You said how many?
100.
Oh, 100. Yeah. Okay.
If 117,000 people saw that video. If everybody could just donate $1 of those 117,000 people, then that's almost 12 operations that could get funded.
Maybe they can have a little tip jar online how that works. I'm not sure. There's going to be some people that can't go. But once I heard they were doing that, I'm like, okay, I'm on board.
Yeah, they're getting to the 10,000.
Yeah, there ain't no way. Look, y'all, we're going to shout this because everything else I'm doing means nothing if these children are not protected.
Well, literally, it all means nothing if the next generation is not protected.
Yeah, and
it literally means nothing.
Right, and this filth out there on our 100th episode, if there's anything we can do, I can't think of anything more worthwhile than this. But in addition to that, y'all, we're going to get us back on topic. We'll talk more about that in later episodes. In fact, I'm going to talk about it in every episode. So we're saying 10 minutes. It'll probably go more like 15, but we're going to get you on this show. The first 10 people that sign up, like I said, email me, and then we're going to get you a place at the PIMPcast. Speaking of PIMPcast, oh heavens to Murgatroyd! I don't know if this is going to show up, but right here.
Now, I'll get some footage of it and put it up.
This was made by B&B Machine Inc. We interviewed them a while back. When you talk about limited edition, y'all, these are limited edition. Okay,
they're pimping.
Yeah. So it says right here, Permaculture PIMPcast 100th episode. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Okay.
Coasters. You didn't say that. They're milled out of like a solid piece of aluminum.
Yeah, these things
they're coasters.
Are the cat's meow. Yeah. And it shows, like I said, there's only 4 of them on the planet. And it tells you which ones they are. So how cool is that? Here's what we're gonna do.
I just want to see it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Here's what we're gonna do. The 4 best reviews that you give us.
Yeah.
The 4 best reviews,
by the next episode,
preferably on Apple or whatever.
You can leave it on the Apple however you listen to it. You can leave it on the Apple Podcast review. You can leave it on the Spotify review. Whatever the Android one is, that review. You can leave a YouTube comment. You can do any of that type of stuff to sign up for your coaster.
Well, I'll tell you what. That also, if you do that, anybody that does this. That gives we're gonna bundle a couple of things here. I just kind of came up with it. William doesn't even know about this.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So if you leave a review and sign up, I'm gonna give you 30 minutes on the program. That's only gonna be for 4 people.
Okay.
So if you sign up for that VIP dinner, okay, and you win the review, that's like
okay. So that's something different. So that's. That's something different. So you have to leave a review and sign up for the dinner. You got to win.
You got to leave a review and win. When I say win, you got to be one of the 4 that
Hold
actually.
on, Dad. I think it might be confusing.
No. You got to leave. Check this out. You got to leave a review, and your review has to win. If you win and you sign up for the VIP dinner, guess what you're going to get? 30 minutes on this program. It's all your show. All right.
Bam.
How about that? So we're going to do everything we possibly can. And I got to give a shout out, honestly, to Bryce and Blaine and also their dad down there. Look, y'all, they're fantastic people. They're selfless, wonderful people. We didn't ask for this. They did it out of the kindness of their hearts. And it's just, I think they're going to be blown away when they see this.
Yeah. Yeah, this thing is cool. It's like something Tony Stark would have. It looks like something Tony Stark should have mounted to his chest.
Yeah. So that
might turn into a suit.
The show kind of went sideways. When I say sideways, it basically went a direction that we didn't. Honestly, it's the 100th episode, y'all, and that is, I got other things we were going to talk about here, but none of it means anything. I mean, at the end of the day, if on this 100th episode we can mark it by saying this is the day we put our foot in the sand, because at the end of the day, y'all, look, you got to watch that documentary called Contraland. One of many out there. Mel Gibson is even making like a 4-part docuseries of child sex trafficking. It's become that bad, and I hope they don't try to kill him. Look, like Shelly was just saying a minute ago on the phone, look, at the end of the day, you are either an activist or an inactivist. Either way, you're involved. I know times are hard, and I know people are struggling in so many different ways. But folks, if you can, if it's possible, if you have the means, let's get this money and get these kids rescued.
Yeah. Also, I mean, you're not just an activist or an inactivist. You also might be funding this. I mean, you also might be funding the actual, the ritual abuse happening to these kids, or just the general abuse happening to these kids, depending on where you're shopping.
Yeah.
I mean, so that you might be turning
not wittingly, but
unwittingly.
Well,
you might be knowingly turning a blind eye because they have something that you want at Target. There's that.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind as well. You're also like fighting with your dollars.
Yeah, it's. I mean, and I've been in talks with a couple of people out there that have supposedly American-made stuff, and going to try to vet these folks a little bit more. That's where we're going to have to spend our dollars and our time, or our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor, as it was said at the founding of this country. That's what I'm willing to invest: our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor, because we're at a rough time, y'all. All right, so we don't have anything for Pastor Lon tonight. I know he's up to his eyeballs with a whole bunch of things right now. So we're going to slip on into the good news, bad news, good news section. Man, speaking of Pastor Lon, he actually sent me this thing the other day. It was right there with the lady who used to be a congresswoman up in Minnesota. Can't think of her name right now. Michelle Bachmann, that's who it was. And she was on with Dr. Drew. And they were basically, and then right after Pastor Lon sent this to me, I was listening to it. And World Health Organization makes bombshell announcement launching digital health certification network. Here's what Michelle Bachmann basically said in a nutshell. I can't even believe not one person in Congress is even talking about it or cares about it. She's reached out to some congressional people. Nobody cares. Basically, it's signing us onto this treaty where the World Health Organization can basically tell you how to do. They can shut it down for whatever reason, and then we're signed on to it, no matter what. Yeah, let's see if we comply with that one. Anyway, that's what's going on out there. Your Congress people out there, son, is there any way you can link a video to the show notes in this?
Yeah, I can link something.
All right, I'm going to have you link that one from Michelle Bachmann.
Okay. So it'll be down in the show notes then.
Yeah, because she's going to do a much better job of this. In a nutshell, y'all, our sovereignty, they're just flat giving it away. And nobody cares. And none of these prostitutes on Fox or MSNBC or whatever, they don't care. And definitely these polecat politicians, they don't care. So if you get a chance, check it out in the show notes. It's going to, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. And I can go into great detail, but we've chewed up a lot of time just talking about that last segment. All right, I want to talk about this other thing. Foraging 101, the universal edibility test. All right, so this is one of those things they taught us in the Army, more of a survival thing. So if you get out there, you're starving, you got to eat out of the woods, then it's really simple. Start with one part of the plant. First, you want to smell it. Okay, if it's off-putting, obviously you want to move on. You want to touch the plant, give it about 15 minutes, put it on your wrist, See if you see any reaction. Okay, wait a little bit longer. Then you touch the plant to your lips. Wait another 15 minutes. Then you put it on your tongue. Obviously, wait another 15 minutes. You want to wait each 15 minutes, you know. This ain't something where you want to sit there.
Yeah, don't do it at all at once and like, all right, now let's wait 15 minutes.
Right. So you chew the plant, wait another 15 minutes, and then ultimately you'll swallow. Now, when it comes to, you want to actually go through this entire thing, but also like berries. I mean, there's a lot of dead people out there, man, eating mushrooms and berries they thought they could.
Yeah.
Typically, if it's like something like a blackberry where it has a bunch of little divots on it, it's usually a good indication that it's not going to be harmful. But that's not always the case.
Yeah.
It's usually, I mean, you go out there, you're picking what you think is a blueberry. Next thing you know, you're seeing a Cocker Spaniel pulling a wagon of balloons out of the woods because you ate something toxic. So keep that in mind. All right, the other good news article. It ain't going to sound like good news to a lot of people out there, but it's good news to me. Chicago's black community slams city over a $51 million fund for migrants. Yeah.
Chicago does not need to be spending a dime outside of their city right now.
On anything other than policing.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, so why would I say this is good news? Because, like I always say, y'all, the crucible of really hard times is the only way to break the depravity. It gets to a point where it is so bad that the people, I mean, anybody in Chicago is like, how many people do? First of all, the immigrants got to be saying, you know, I think I'd rather be back in Mexico right now.
Yeah,
or
no
Honduras
kidding.
or Guatemala.
Those favelas weren't so bad.
Yeah, dude. They're like, put me on the first thing smoking right on back to Guatemala or wherever it is they came from. The fact that they're in Chicago, it's going to be a hard reality when winter kicks in.
It's like, it's cold, it's windy, and people keep shooting at me.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't even felt cold like that, especially when you come from a tropical environment. So the point that I'm getting at here is this is how it hits a point of critical mass. That's when people wake up. It's the crucible of really hard times. So all of these politicians, they're basically bought and paid for, many of them, by George Soros or the Tides Foundation or any of these others out there. And this is what it's got to get to. I mean, they got to be looking around saying, hey, 51, why didn't we give this to cops?
Yeah, no kidding. Well, that would have been racist.
Oh, it gets even better. New York City, Eric Adams, he's in there telling these folks, hey, if you got an extra room, go ahead and bring in some of these immigrants.
Yeah, because people in New York City got extra rooms.
Yeah, like, hey, Vato, I know we don't speak the same language over here, man, but come on up in here. Don't know who you are, but bring you and whoever you brought with you. I mean, are you kidding me? Yeah. They're actually floating this idea out there. But hey, on another note, I got to hit this other one, man. It ain't got nothing to do with permaculture, news, health, none of that stuff. Man, this latest thing with the UFO, where this guy, tell-all guy, comes out there, it's basically made the circuit all the way around. He's basically a former Air Force guy, comes out of the woodwork and says, yeah, we got these spaceships, you know, I was told that we got, and I'm like, okay, can nobody else but me see that this is a doggone psyop? I'm like, the guy openly says he didn't actually see him, but he knows people that talk to him. He had this clearance, all this other stuff. I'm like, where was all this fanfare when Colonel Corso came out? Where was the fanfare when, who's that guy that Joe Rogan had on there a while back?
Bob Lazar.
Bob Lazar. And these are guys that supposedly saw the actual crafts.
Yeah.
But this is a guy, heard it from a friend who... Heard it from a friend who heard it from another. There was UFOs laying around.
Oh, Dad.
Yeah, son, that's a jam from way back. You don't get that. But the point is, you're going to take a guy. They're shouting this from the rooftop on every single network out there on a guy that didn't even see this stuff. And I'm like, okay, really? Is this what we've come to? This is where we are in all this. You're going to break this guy out. What are you trying? And it's working.
There's two possible ways for Biden to get reelected. A, voter fraud. B, disclosing alien information.
You think what's he going to say? I'm going home?
No. I bet he would get reelected like tomorrow if it were possible. If he undisclosed all the UFO information.
No,
people would lose their minds. They would vote him the best president in the United States.
No, I don't think so. At the end of the day, man, you'll be like every other thing. Okay, they're worried about doing a tell-all on UFOs. Okay, let's start with the Kennedy assassination. Tell me, I know Lee Harvey Oswald didn't do it when, the guy flies to the back of the car. Okay, everybody with any sense that's looked at that Zapruder film knows he was shot from the front. Okay, you want to do a tell-all? You want, first of all, who did it? Who really did it? Which we know who did it. It was obviously the CIA. Let's come to grips on that one. Oh, here's another one. What really happened in Oklahoma City bombing? Better still, what even happened? What really happened on 9/11? Because all of those have been manufactured lies. But we're going to go straight to the UFO. Answer those first, and then tell me about some UFOs.
Even an older one, World War I. Like why we actually got involved with World War I.
Yeah, I can give you the long and short on that. But how about every war from then on out? This guy's talking about UFOs, didn't even see them, supposedly, and then everybody's going on about this. Y'all, I'm sorry. The whole reason I'm even bringing this up right now is when you hear this nonsense, it is a distraction. There is something they do not want you to see. It's like this thing with, like they're talking about this dam that got blown up in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as who the culprits are, obviously it's probably Ukraine or us.
Yeah.
Or us that was helping Ukraine. But what gets me is that they're like, the Russians actually did this. Okay. This is like two MMA fighters getting into a ring. One of them knocks the other one out. And then the one guy who got knocked out wakes up and goes to the ref and complains he got knocked out.
Yeah.
He was in a fight. You're in a freaking war.
Yeah.
Ain't this what happens when you go to war? Don't start no SH and there won't be no IT. I need to get another one of those shirts. All right, y'all, when we come back to it, we're going to spend a little bit of time in the main topic. All right, 100th episode, man. It's kind of surreal.
Yeah.
It seems like we just started this thing.
Yeah, I remember like when we were still trying to figure out like the actual like the Roadcaster, the computer, GarageBand, all that stuff.
That's why I texted you Jack Spirko's 15-year thing, because there's a lot of good podcasting advice. I mean, he's probably the best at it, especially within this genre. Anybody that can sit there and keep your attention for 3 hours and not bore you is pretty doggone incredible at his craft. And he's the real deal, y'all. There's a lot of good information there. So I sent that over for you to go check it out. But it is surreal because I'm like, man, it seems like we just started this doggone thing. All right, y'all, before we get into the main topic, we won't spend a lot of time in there because we definitely want to get to your Q&A. Before we get going, y'all, $50 off from EMP Shield if you put in promo code PERMA. Don't even need to tell you. We just talked about William Forstchen, the guy that wrote the book on 1 Second After. So, if you need it, that's where you go to get it. And we thank everybody for your support. So going right back, I want to cover this because I kind of left it halfway. Instead of tipping a pimp on a fountain app, y'all, please go buy a ticket to this thing. I'll be there. I'm going to buy a ticket. Nobody's giving me anything. I'm buying a ticket just like everybody else. Let's put butts in seats, y'all. Let's have this party for a purpose and get these kids rescued.
Yeah.
All right, topic. And, man, this is something we really should have covered from way back. But, permaculture, preparedness, practical living. So we're going to cover that. And all of it really goes hand in hand. A lot of people are, we have less money out there these days, okay? No joking about that. No kidding around. I mean, everybody knows it. Everybody feels it right now. And some of us are able to bear the brunt a little bit more. But you still got to put back because we don't know this world we're living in right now. It's like we are literally trying to court World War III. Not going to live my life as if it's going to start tomorrow. I'm not changing one thing different. If I was, I wouldn't be going to this event up in Kentucky.
Right.
Or I wouldn't be going to the one that's just an hour away that's coming up. So I'm just going to live my life. I'm not going to let these people, they did too much to us during COVID to keep all of us isolated. They basically robbed. How many kids didn't get to walk to graduation of high school?
Yeah, how many are screwed up right now just because they went those, year and a half, 2 years without any kind of, actual social interaction?
I know a kid, he was the grandson of the lady at my chiropractor. They couldn't even walk the stage because he didn't wear a mask during a Zoom meeting for school. They did not let him walk his graduation. So my point being is that with the latest, who knows what the latest pestilence they'll try to pull, whatever the case may be, y'all. Fear ain't, I'm done with their fear. I'm not playing along, not going to have it. But they could pull the old thing again because there's a lot of people that are willing to just fall right back into the trap. So you got to be prepared in terms of your storage items. And that's exactly what we're going to give you some tips. Places you can go. Yeah, we promote Heaven's Harvest because they're a Christian-owned and operated outfit, and they have good stuff. But you may not be able to afford a lot of that. And at the end of the day, man, if I'm not helping, if I'm not leading you guys in the right ways, then look, I can't sleep with me at night. So I'll tell you what I noticed when I went to Sam's Club. Every time I go to Sam's, I hate going, but there's things I got to get there for your mom. But every time I go in there, I just want to wrap somebody in the head with a tack hammer just to get out of my way.
Freaking nightmare every time you go into Sam's.
Yeah, but sometimes you know, for preparedness items, it ain't a bad place.
No.
If you're going there to get your rice, you can get those 50-pound bags of that white rice, and that it is up $2 for a 50-pound bag. It was $17. Now it's almost $20.
Do you remember what it was when we first started prepping?
Yeah. It
was like 8 something, wasn't it, for a bag, for a 50-pound bag of rice?
50-pound bag. It was $8. Yeah, back in the day. We are way past that now. It's gone up $2 in 2 months, but there's no food inflation out there.
Yeah.
But still, $20 for 50-pound bags of rice. We've done videos on it. You get it home. I mean, for under $100, what did we say? We could feed somebody for 73 days.
It was like 73 point something days. Yeah. Yeah. And it was what was it? What do we call that? I can't remember what we called that video.
I don't know, but it's in there somewhere in one of our videos. Probably ought to do an update to something like it. But basically, with Mylar bags, the whole 9 yards, I'm saying this, y'all, because things are getting real. And a lot of us are really I have never seen record numbers of people reaching out.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this. And I understand you're a little bit fearful, but I'm going to caution you. Look, before you go spending money on a bunch of other things, get your beans and bullets squared away. Get your dry goods squared away. You can get shelf-stable fat. Coconut oil is still very inexpensive. You can get a lot of it. Shelf-stable, okay? Lard, if you can get your hands on some of that. But Sam's, it went up $2, but it's still a bargain, I think. It's just like the price of silver. It's still a bargain at under $20 because here before long,
I mean, even if it was $50 for a bag of rice, it's still a bargain because you're getting so many meals out of that rice.
You are. And plus you can stack it with so many other things.
But do it before you're paying $50 a bag or even more.
Now you can go get your beans there at Sam's too. But I'm going to suggest another place if you lived on the East Coast, because maybe you don't have one of these. You may have something like it. What was it called, son?
Hayes Food Products. Yeah. It's in Greenville or Greer, South Carolina. If you look up Hayes Food Products in Greenville, South Carolina, it's going to pop up. But They have Hayes Food Products. Hayes. Yep. They have decent quality beans as far as like freshness.
Yeah, they got the best beans you can get. And the expense on that now, like I said, Sam's, you can go there, you can get beans. I don't know, what do they sell them, 10 pounds a piece over there, but you can get them. We were buying these bags at 100 pounds.
Yeah, and seeing them big old boys over there throwing them around like they're nothing is kind of impressive.
Yeah, you get a bunch of milk boys out there throwing around 100-pound bags. But listen, y'all, Sam's is okay, but number one, the quality of the bean you're going to get is better there, and number two, you're going to get a 100-pound bag, and the price break on it, when we got it last time, it was like 30 cents maybe a pound.
Yeah, it's what was it? It was like 40 some bucks for pinto beans, a 100-pound bag of pinto beans.
Yeah. So you're going to get a much better deal. You can get it at Sam's if you want, but you can find giant co-ops. Let me tell you another place. My Mormon friends out there, man, they know all about preparedness. They don't play around. Now, back in the day, we used to be able to go to the Mormon cannery in Kansas City, go over there, can our own stuff.
Yeah.
We'd go in there, can literally our own stuff, and then take it with you. But under the Obama administration, they basically had to do away with a lot of that, the way I understand it. But those things are still available. I think that you still got to buy it in bulk. Trust me. Reach out to some of these Mormons. I can't remember what they call them. But man, Mormon folks are all about preparedness, man. If you don't know any, go find some. And believe me, there is nobody better than the Mormons out there when it comes to this kind of stuff. Also, when it comes to this preparedness, right now we are in the middle of a strawberry harvest, folks, that I can't even describe. But you can only can so many. And with the kind of harvest, I mean, these are June-bearing strawberries. They are coming out the eyeballs.
Yeah.
Well, whatever that means for you, whether it's strawberries, whether it's this, whether it's that, I got to be honest with you. And I'm not saying this because they're a sponsor of the show, but a freeze dryer is a life changer in terms of what it enables us to do.
Yeah.
Now, are they cheap? No. I wouldn't trade it for nothing.
But it's definitely worth it. If you just take into consideration the amount of harvest that you save, because it's not rotting, it's not spoiling or anything like that. And then it's kind of passive. Like once you put it in the trays and put it in the freeze dryer, you don't have to worry about it until it's done.
Yeah, but here's exactly the way I was looking at it before. And somebody else pointed it out to me. So if you were to go out and buy a bunch of freeze-dried, ready-made meals,
yeah,
it ain't cheap.
No.
I mean, it's convenient, but it's not cheap. Most of us got more time than money these days. But if you were able to go in with maybe another family, get one of those freeze dryers, do like I had your mom doing. Every time she would make a meal, I'd say make 5 times as much, like it was fried rice.
Mm-hmm.
You were getting sick and tired of eating fried rice.
Man, yeah, that fried rice was getting a little worn out for a while.
Not me. Man, I could eat that stuff every day. But I was like, okay, make a bunch of this fried rice, way more, because we're going to stick it on these trays and stick it in the freeze dryer. And that's exactly what we did. So whatever meal you have that night, like Emily's doing this experiment with a fruit cocktail out there right now.
Yeah. Yeah. She made like a fruit salad.
Fruit salad.
Yeah.
And it was like she couldn't eat it all. Had bananas in there, had apples, had whatever she had on hand, basically threw it in a big sangria and threw it in one of the trays in the freeze dryer. And it's out there as we speak right now with the strawberries that are freeze dried.
Grapes, strawberries, bananas, apples, all kinds of stuff in there. I'm curious to see if the grapes will freeze dry all the way through.
Well, we'll have to let them. There's tricks around that I know. I was going to suggest that, but we'll cover that. Don't want to get off topic here. Point being is that if you do spend that money for that freeze dryer and you have Mylar bags, you could, every single meal you make at home, I don't care what it is, you can freeze dry that meal, stick it in a Mylar bag. Guess what? You got your own MREs. And the cool thing about those things is that it keeps forever and a day, and it retains most of the vitamins and minerals that are in that food. So let's say you had, I don't know, pot roast, mashed potatoes, and corn, whatever the case may be. You can literally take all those leftovers, stick them in there. Well, you want to freeze them first. Stick them on there. There's a way to put it there on the trays. But that's exactly what we're doing, y'all. This thing runs day and night. And that's exactly what we got to do. That's what we do for our MREs. So we don't buy ready-made. We have some of that, but we mostly make it ourselves.
You can also do it for like trips and stuff. Or, I mean, you could do it for like your lunch for work if you wanted to.
Well, Darren at Hacks for the Homestead, along with Grumpy from Grumpy Acres, when they would come down there to do classes and whatever, Grumpy's wife would make sure.
Angela, she'd have a ton of those freeze-dried meals ready for them.
Yep. So it's all ready to eat. Like, hey, this is what you eat when you're down there.
Yeah, I think they have a website where they sell them too, don't they?
They might. Check out Grumpy Acres.
Yeah, Grumpy Acres.
Grumpy Acres Homestead. I think that's the whole thing. Even, coming down to a dehydrator, it has its role. We got one, but that thing is mothballed, man. As long as this freeze dryer is working, man.
I don't even know the last thing we used. What was it, beef jerky
no,
like
it was
2
apples.
years ago?
It was apples.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I used it to dry apples, and they're still sitting on the shelf down in the pantry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, dehydrator works. You're going to lose a little bit. That's part of it, is that you lose a little bit in the dehydration. That's the beauty of freeze drying. But not everybody can afford a freeze dryer. But if you can, look, y'all, if there is any way that you can maybe forward up with somebody, or maybe there's a group of families that maybe you can all kind of collectively say, okay, you use it for, or maybe you just use it to prepare. I don't know. There's so many different ways you can go about it. Remember, a lot of people put back a lot of canned goods. Let me tell you where you're kind of missing the boat on that. The amount of money, okay, that same $20 you spent on, let's say, rice at Sam's, Or let's say it was on beans. Let's say you spent $20 on dry beans. Ask yourself, how many of those canned beans can you get for that same amount of money?
You can get at like
a fraction.
Yeah, 20 cans.
A fraction.
Yeah.
So your calorie, if you don't mind soaking those beans, cooking the rice yourself, and frankly, if you find yourself in a survival position and you're too trifling to soak beans, may your chain sit lightly upon you, okay?
You got to come.
That's all I got to say upon you. So think about that. Always, if you can, if you're putting it back, yeah, convenience cans are handy for certain things. It's nice to have. But if you're working on this on a budget, well, might want to think about that drying stuff. Yeah. Also, let me add one more thing. Wheat berries. If you can, get a little hand grinder, get yourself wheat berries. There's farmers out there. There's big co-ops. Honestly, a lot of the folks in the Mormon communities can lead you to some of those too. Mm-hmm. We had connections before where we were getting this stuff when nobody else could. Organic turkey red wheat, hard winter wheat. I mean, you name it. It keeps forever and a day as long as you leave it in the berry form. Now, once you make flour, that's when the clock starts ticking.
Yeah.
So you can keep that stuff forever and a day in that form. But you can also get it for it. The more it's refined, like I said, buying beans or whatever the case in a can, the more it's refined, the less your money's going to go. So learn these skills. I remember Jason at Sow the Land, his father-in-law, they were sick of buying bread or whatever the case was. Randy started making bread.
Yeah. And
sent us home with some.
Yeah.
So,
his own sourdough and stuff like that.
He's made a hobby out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's making bread you can't possibly buy in the store. Light years better, and you always feel good about it. I guess Randy likes a piece of toast every morning. All right, y'all. So just think about these ways in which this is a give back episode, y'all, and I'm telling you, this is the way you do it when you're going to prepare.
Up about Elon, buying Twitter like he gon' save us. Left and right, squabbling while he got chips for your heads, calling him courageous. No bueno, I answer to no one, start calling me NATO. Digital cheese on the way though. Get you a bowl of Alfredo. It's a woke summer, I need another booster. Before I hit the beach, BLM on my koozie.
All right, welcome back to episode 100 of the Permaculture PIMPcast. I should be exhausted because I didn't really sleep a whole lot last night, but man, I'm telling you what, this whole thing with raising this money for Vets for Child Rescue, man, has so much wind in my sails because I was tired earlier and I was thinking, man, I got to pull it together for this show, man. And then the second I thought, oh, good night. This is what we're going to raise money for, y'all. I'm reinvigorated. I'm ready to rock and roll. And I couldn't be more excited, man. If there's any way we can celebrate this 100th, let's get 10,000. Let's get it for those kids.
It's gonna get to 10,000.
Yeah, let's get this money.
Yeah. I got a comment or a question from the Fountain app. Billy, this is from user 5121. Billy, have you been listening to Jack about getting a wallet of Satoshi? Have you moved your sats from Fountain to your wallet? Just checking. I have faith that you can do it, brother. We'll have to get on that.
Last time I did a show with Jack, he had to tell me how to do it. I'm not, I'm trying to pull myself. Jack made a pretty good case the other day. I was on the phone with him and he and I were talking privately and he's making a pretty strong case for why I should at least examine and understand what my enemy, this is Sun Tzu 101. I need to know what my enemy knows, or at least be able to do some jujitsu with some of their weapons and put it back on them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to start getting myself, because honestly, with a lot of this microscope stuff I'm doing, there's a fair piece of it that requires my understanding of tech. And I'll be honest with you, everybody has things they hate. That is something I hate. That and bad drivers. Okay. So, so we got one from the, name came across as Michelle, but she signed Donna. She says, made it very simple. She said, as a security officer, I am a little upset with you with what you said in episode 84. Number one, I'm not allowed to touch anyone. Number two, I'm not allowed to detain anyone. That is considered kidnapping. Number 3, my job is to observe and report. Number 4, if I do one or two, I lose my job and may go to prison. Yeah, I knew a lot of these prison guards. I'm not saying you're not a good one. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we're not saying that they're like all bad or anything like that.
I'm just saying, anybody up in Leavenworth, Kansas, drive by that prison, go look at where all the guards are parking, and you tell me how a GS5 is driving around an $80,000 automobile.
Yeah.
Not just one of them, nearly all of them. Corvettes, trucks, and I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, we also
here?
made that clear during the last episode that they're not all bad. Like, come on now. I mean, yeah obviously they're not all bad. Not all cops are bad. Not all take any topic. Not all of them are bad.
Well, you're saying a security officer. I understand. Maybe it's a job I couldn't do. I won't go into the reasons why, but everybody I know that has gotten into that has changed, and not for the better.
Yeah.
I have literally seen. There's a cousin, and there's a friend. I mean, there's actually a number of people I know that have gotten into this. And I think there is something, just like I said, when you butcher animals every single day of the week, every time you're around these people, they lost a step. And people, I think, now these guys that work in prisons and gals that work in prisons, I think they can only do it for 25 years and then you got to retire. There are rules. There are rules that if a guard starts messing with this was actually explained to me by one of their union reps, and this is years ago, that if any guards mess around with any prisoners, it's considered like pedophilia because they're in your guard. Not saying it doesn't happen. Not saying there's not a lot of bad ones out there. All I know is somebody explained to me how every prison guard at this, and then we got a whole lot of for-profit prisons out there too.
Well, yeah.
There's a reason why cops in East Texas, there's a reason we left Texas.
Yeah.
Because there is for every guy, I mean, I can tell you story after story after story, but everywhere where there is a for-profit prison industry, yes, that exists. You're going to have people going to jail for some really idiot. How is it we have more people in jail than China and Russia combined?
Yeah. But those are the communist bad guys and stuff.
Yeah. Nobody ever wants to talk about that.
Yeah. I got a couple of comments from the Fountain app. Jen in Indy says, always inspiring. Hashtag tip a pimp. Strider47 comes in and says, hashtag tip a pimp. Got another one from Flyover Joe. Which size Harvest Right freeze dryer do you recommend? Love what y'all are doing. Hashtag tip a pimp. Hashtag can't tuck this. Hashtag catch Jack.
Yeah. Check this shirt out, nephew.
Can't tuck this.
Yeah. I got to get him to work on that T, man, because it's looking a little bit too close to an F. Now to your mom, I didn't even think about it, man.
After she said that, I can't not see it.
I'm like, well, okay. I didn't see it until she said something.
We're gonna get kicked off of YouTube for that. They're like, well, good. We've been waiting for a reason.
Yeah. Here we go. No, as far as the size, I'll be honest with you. I got the biggest one. Actually, I think they make a bigger since we got this one. We didn't get any discount. They didn't send it to us for free. There was none of that. We got it simply. Honestly,
I would recommend getting the biggest size possible that you can do, but also keep in mind the vacuums. There's one that's an oilless vacuum, and then there's one that has oil. I would get the one with oil. I think there's some limitations to the oilless one.
Well, I tell you what, we wouldn't even have gotten it had it not been for having a conversation with Ben and Denise over at Renewed Homestead.
Yeah.
And then until Ben really kind of pointed out, he's like, dude, I think we're going to get one. We were initially thinking about trying to share it, but then we'd be using it at the same time. And then Ben says, look, man, I mean, honestly, how much time do you spend canning during harvest? And I'm like, okay, that enough said.
Or even the heat of canning during harvest.
Yeah. And then I got something I can literally takes up a fraction of the space I can stick on the shelf.
Yeah.
And honestly, when we have too much meat down there, that's a way to get rid of it.
You can still can if you want to too. You can do both at the same time.
Yeah. So as far as the size, man, I go with the biggest you can afford. That's what we do. I mean, this isn't some, look, y'all, there is not one thing on this program we talk about. In fact, we've turned away a lot of advertisers for this show because I don't actively use their stuff. If we don't use your stuff, no matter how much of a friend, no matter what you make or what it is you do, if I don't use it, I won't have it on the program. I do this.
Yeah.
Everything on here I use religiously, and I count on a lot of this stuff. When I get done here, I am going to take a shower with Hickory Ridge soap. I guarantee it. In fact, Mom's got to order more, man. I'm down to, I think, the last bar.
Yeah, we got to get some more.
So, yeah, Shelly, we'll be sending off a giant, I imagine we'll be sending off a order for about 20 of them.
Yeah, if she does one with tea tree. So, Shelly, if you are listening, if you do one with tea tree, that'd be handy for keeping like all the ticks away and stuff right now. Yeah, that'd be a very handy scent.
Well, I think she's got to let this stuff cure a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, that soap is off the meat wagon. Anyway, like I said, we really use this stuff. So as far as these freeze dryers, yeah, in fact, it's actually crossed my mind to maybe
get another one.
Yeah, to get another one, because honestly, the amount of harvest we have, and your mom is like kicking everything way up. I'm seriously thinking about getting another one.
I think we should, and that's what I was actually thinking about in his question. He was asking like what size. I was thinking like, well, 2, because like you never seem to have like enough available space whenever you need
when
it.
you got a harvest like we got coming in right now, there's like, okay, we got this thing running back to back, man. And so, yeah, I think we're going to probably go buy another one. Yeah, I think we're about due. Plus 2 is 1 and 1 is none.
Yep.
So, yeah, we'll have to
Is it
scrape
your
some
turn or
pennies.
my turn?
It's mine. Okay. So we got one from Bill and Cynthia. They met us at Asheville Homesteading Conference. I'm not so sure it's a question as much as it is. We have a lot of people asking for design consultations.
Oh,
yeah. Folks, we just can't fit them in right now. We're up to our eyeballs in what we have right now, and it's not getting any easier. But another person who's also up to his eyeballs but can get you in is the best out there. That's Eric Sider, E.Sider, SEIDER, at gmail.com.
E.Sider@gmail.com. It's also linked down below in the show notes.
Yep. Go check him out. And folks, you're going to be glad you did, because he's just, I mean, he is meticulous. He eats, sleeps, breathes, dreams, everything permaculture.
Yep.
And you can't do better. So if you need any consultations, I don't know. Eric is probably he's probably so busy. He may not be able to get you in, but he might.
Yeah.
We definitely can't do it, y'all. We're just up to our eyeballs.
I got one specifically for you, and it's from user 7089. He's saying it's worth every sat to hear you say, "Show me your war face." And he donated 2,000 some sat. So you got to say it now, Dad.
Show me your war face. You don't scare me. Work on it.
There you go. You want me to read another one?
No, we got another thank you from Leanne. I wanted to say thank you for my comfrey order. Look, y'all, every time you get something from us, it's a thank you from us.
Yep.
We thank you for your business. We thank you for your belief in what we do. And folks, if you knew the full extent of what we do with a lot of the money that comes in, I think you'd be glad for your purchase, because we don't spend it on ourselves a lot of times. A lot of wonderful things there's a lot of wonderful things that get done out there, and you guys are the genesis of all that. Well, the Lord is the genesis of all of it. But if we can sell you something that I know works, that is going to save your bacon in so many different ways in your garden and with your animals and even with yourself, and that is something you never have to buy again, the thank you really comes from us. But I thank you so much, Leanne. She says you put some in the fridge, so good deal.
Got one from Strider47. Thanks to Billy and the Permaculture Princess for showing some vulnerability. I appreciate how relatable you all are. Keep up the great work. # tip a pimp. # catch Jack. #, too big to tuck.
Bam, man. I think we need more of these tuck shirts.
Yeah.
I think I got to get him to get the right size, man. This thing will fit your mom.
Yeah.
Man,
it looks like can't tuck this into a shirt.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm like, okay, man, the guy told me it would shrink, but I didn't know this much. I mean, yeah, if I stand up, dude, it's going to look like a comedy routine.
Yeah, it's going to look like a crop top.
Yeah. Right here, check this one out. It says, I heard several times on different podcasts, latest on Crow 777, and I haven't had a chance to try it. The illegitimate powers that be haven't been spraying lately. Supposedly set a gallon of vinegar to boil on an outdoor grill or fire. Many people notice clouds disrupting after an hour, and the clouds and the cloud disrupt after an hour, and the sky clears after 3 hours. Since this is an interest of yours, I thought you might want to try this experiment.
Boiling vinegar?
Yeah, I'm Crow777. I think it's either a YouTube channel. He was actually I actually been in the same couple of places with him, just never even talked to him. I have to check it out. Look, I know some of this stuff sounds a little bit offbeat and esoteric, but
that organite, is that what you're about to bring up?
Well, no, some other folks have talked about that. This is something totally different. Look, at this point, man, if they said take a bunch of rat urine and boil it, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Honestly, I want to know. It's like I talked about in the last episode with the triangle with the pyramid.
Yeah.
Above that plant. There's also another reason I haven't done that. I guess I should say it. Is that I wonder what doors you open with some of these things, some of this geometry.
Yeah.
So I've been reluctant. I know how to do it, I think, but I don't know that I want to open that door up. Supposedly the plants that grow under this thing grow at a rate that is like otherworldly. But I don't think I'm ready to try it. But like I said, you can't use a regular pyramid. It's got to be kind of 8-sided pyramid.
What if you made a pyramid that was a greenhouse?
Well, some in Russia, they actually have a healing chamber that is something like that. It's a pyramid like a greenhouse or something like it. Yeah.
That'd be cool. Got one from Agatha Raisin. I'm looking to get a PDC stateside in person, and I'm wondering what I should look for in a program. There's one in your neck of the woods with an emphasis on social justice, no thank you, and a Midwest option offered by Midwest Permaculture. It all looks nice, but not sure how I should pick a program. Any thoughts on what I should look for in a program? I mean, if they're saying something about social justice, that's usually not a good sign. That usually goes into the fair share category of people.
And it usually goes into a lot of people. I'll come down like Thor's hammer on a lot of these other permaculture designers. Some people may say it's in poor form, but I have nothing in common with a lot of these folks. If you're saying, yeah, I'm a permaculture designer, but I'm all about storytelling, or I'm a permaculture designer and
if they're saying that, if there's an emphasis on social justice, it just shows that they don't even care or believe in anything that they're teaching. Like, okay, what is the prime directive of permaculture?
Yeah.
Take complete ownership of yourself and yours.
Family. Yes.
Like, you have to do that before you can start worrying about social justice. And I mean, how many of these people are actually growing anything? How many of these people are actually providing their own food?
Or they grow a little bit of kale. They live on the kale, and and then they're the sanctimonious type. When they start talking that kind of nonsense, which seems to be the overwhelming majority of most permaculture people out there, look, can you eat that social justice?
Take a PDC from somebody whose farm you want to emulate, I think. And that's going to be way harder to find. But I mean, if you take a PDC from one of those funky little Marchies, you're going to turn into some anorexic vegan that smells 30 miles like away with blue hair.
Yeah, it could be that. Or you may end up chopping things off. You never know where this stuff kind of leads.
You might not have to worry about tucking.
Yeah. So you might want to also consider, Jeff Lawton probably has the best PDC in the world. It's an online version of it, and I got to vouch for it. It is the best. Yeah. School of Permaculture has an online version. But when they start talking too much about this social justice nonsense, they kind of leave out some of the real critical fundamental parts of it. And then they just kind of cut and paste what they want out of it. Yeah. I don't know. If you want to learn something really useful, those are not the people I typically want to be around.
Also, I would avoid any of them at universities.
Yes.
Yeah. Any PDCs being offered by universities. There was a comment somewhere, and it seems like it disappeared, but somebody was asking about like an Oregon State PDC. Yeah. No. No.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what it's like. My tendency, honestly, if you can do it in person, it's kind of cool because you get the interaction, you gain a little camaraderie, and you get to find out what other folks are doing. You may help them out. They may help you out. That's kind of helpful. That's the way we did it. And if you have to do it online, you still get the information. But I got to be honest with you. Anybody that's talking social justice, there's another. I was on the phone the other day with Chef
Snow.
Yeah, Chef Snow. Go check him out. And he brought up one. I meant to, man, when I'm on the phone with him, I go in so many different places because the guy is so doggone smart and awake. And I'm like running all over the place because we're talking about things that you can't necessarily talk about with most people. So anyway, he brought up one permaculture designer that lives in the Pacific Northwest. The woman is as crazy as a 3-headed cat.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy. And now her thing is toxic. She's supposedly a permaculture designer, apparently does a couple of interesting things, but goes on and on and on lately about toxic individuality. Toxic individuality. Huh. So, yeah, I guess I'm supposed to just shuffle myself right into the collective. Got another one here from Joshua. Basically was talking about, some really good results. He didn't do it personally, but this mechanical concrete, heard us talking about the driveway. He said he has no personal experience. Essentially, it's using tires with the sidewall cut off and filled with rock and gravel. Yeah, I actually seen that.
Yeah.
And I think Eric Sider actually sent that to me.
There's like departments of transportation that are using tires and stuff like that for erosion retention and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen that. Man, I thought it was Eric that sent that to me a while back. But
Maybe.
Boy, you're talking about a lot of work, nephew.
Yeah, cutting those doggone tires.
Yeah, and then getting them down in there. I mean, you could build a couple of earth ships before you get up this driveway. All right, y'all. This is our 100th. Remember, check out everything we were talking about. October 28th and 29th at Kentucky Sustainable Living Festival. Remember what we said. We got some serious giveaways. Remember, get out there. Do everything you can to spread this show. Tell everybody, y'all. Until next time, stay alert.
Stay alive.